Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the AIDA Freediving World Championships. Today we have an amazing slate of athletes performing today. We are looking at the men's bifins, along with 9 national record attempts. We also have 1 world record attempt by Alexei Molchanov doing an announced 115 meters using the bifins, which will be absolutely fantastic. That is 2 meters deeper than what it currently is. Alexei also holds the record for that as well, set last year. And on top of that, we just have a bunch of amazing other divers who are going to be diving, competing for national records, for personal bests. We're just going to have a great day. My name is Brendan Reed. I am a freediving instructor, a breath coach, and I will be commentating all throughout today's events, answering questions, and trying to give you guys some insight and feedback as to what is going on here at this event. As you can see, we've got our starting list here, starting with Junichi Konami, and again, as you can see, at 8:50, in about 50 minutes from now, Alexei will be doing his world record attempt. Today, the conditions at the moment are pretty good. There is not a lot of surface chop. But there is a fair amount of movement. So sitting up here in my crow's nest booth, there's a lot of swaying back and forth. So that's kind of fun. You know, it's a little bit like sitting on a seesaw or something. It's okay. We'll see how the day progresses, but for now I'm feeling good. Starting us off today is Junichi Konami of Japan, doing a 65-meter dive with a 2:15 announced time. As you can hear, the judges are calling official top and are talking and are saying positive numbers. A diver has up to 30 seconds after the official top to start their dive.
Start okay?
Here we go, first dive of the day. Kicking nice and fast through the positive buoyancy on the surface. Getting down to neutral buoyancy and then eventually negative buoyancy. You'll see with the athletes, they start off kicking really hard on the surface, but as they go deeper and deeper, they slowly decrease the speed and the power that they're kicking with. Oop, we're rotating a little bit. There we go. Back to facing the line. And at this point now, Junichi is in his free fall, which is where he is negatively buoyant. So he's basically just sinking and relaxing through this part of the dive.
1 minute.
Whoop, there we go. Got the tag. As you can see on the line, there's a little area that's red and white called the candy cane. A diver is allowed to do a pull there, but if they pull above that, it is a disqualification. And we had a few divers yesterday who pulled very, very close to the top, and after a review of the footage, the judges decided that it was a red card and disqualification instead. Here he comes, kicking nice and fast, joined by our first safety, our second safety, checking to make sure that Junichi is doing okay, there to assist if anything is happening. Coming up to the surface. He now has to turn and face the judges. Hold. Ooh. It's a surface blackout. Safeties are there to support the athlete, keep their airways out of the water, and help them revive as quickly as possible. Generally, a surface blackout like that only takes a few seconds, and the athlete comes right back. See? Okay, totally fine. Something that happens just very quickly. So that will be a red card for Junichi because his airways dipped below the water on the surface.
So, Frank, gauge A2.
Looking totally okay.
The depth is 65.4. Dive time 1 minute 54.
An interesting note is that safety and medical consider a surface blackout like that not a medical emergency. A medical emergency would be any kind of pressure-related injury, such as a barotrauma, a throat squeeze, a lung squeeze, stuff like that. That requires medical attention from the medical team on the boat. We have two medical staff sitting on a additional boat, and 2 staff on our big boat that we're on right now. Next up we have Luca Malaguti of Canada. Luca is 31 years old and has been diving since for about 5 years now. He's one of the 2 athletes of Team Canada here, the other being Cassandra Cooper. When I asked Luca what the most important part of his training was, he said that it was 100% his mental training. Keeping his mind in a good place with business, life, relationships, and other stuff. And he actually says that the physical part of his training is the easy part.
Line is set for 65.
Check it. There. Check up there.
5, 4, 3.
As you can see, he's very relaxed on the surface, letting the waves sort of move him around, not holding too much tension in his shoulders or his neck.
9, 10.
And if you look on his neck, you can see he has a white band around it. That is a neck weight. Some of the divers use a neck weight to help keep them. If you think about it like an arrow, all of the weight is at the front of the arrow, at the arrow tip. And where that weight goes, the rest of the arrow follows. And so by moving the weight of the diver wears up to the neck, to the top of the body, a diver stays in a bit more of a streamlined position, and looks like we're working on a little bit of an equalization issue, but still staying nice and relaxed through it.
Guys. 4 minutes.
Got a nice free fall position. Yeah, definitely an EQ issue there. And Luca's definitely doing the right thing by turning around and coming back up. One thing that we as freedivers never want to do is try and ride the flexibility of our eardrums. And by that I mean there is some flexibility in the soft or the very thin membrane of your eardrum, but we never want to be diving to a point where we are feeling any pain or any kind of discomfort in our ears. We always want to be diving in a way that is relaxed, comfortable, pain-free.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
And like I said, Luca made the right choice by turning around. Rather turn early and dive the next day, then push it, try and ride the eardrums and risk injury. And sometimes that's one of the hardest things to decide as an athlete. I mean, these athletes are here, they have one chance to do this discipline in this competition, and there's a bit of pressure. A lot of athletes have sponsors, a lot of athletes have a lot of people expecting big things from them, and it's a very mature decision to turn around and protect yourself.
2 minutes to the official top.
Next up we have Ilya Navato of Russia, doing a 66-meter dive with a 2:20 announced dive time.
Dive 2 on B2. Plus 1.9. You want the time or not? 1:47.
During this competition, Luca was planning on pushing he was going to try and improve on his past results of 165, or sorry, not 165, just 65 meters bifins. But he's been experiencing a few sickness issues recently, so he has decided to play it safe and just do another 65-meter dive, or sorry, 66-meter dive, which is 1 meter deeper than his last record in PB. I was chatting earlier with Ilya about if he thinks freediving is an extreme sport. A lot of people throw around the term that freediving is very extreme, and he said something very profound, I think. He said that extreme starts where safety measures end. And I think that is a really, really good point. You know, we have all kinds of safety measures here in place. We have 4 different safety divers on every single dive, watching the divers, making sure that they're safe. We have safety measures for, as you can see, the lanyard attached to Ilya. We have counterweight measures in case we need to pull a diver up from a depth. We have a scooter for deeper depths, so safety divers are able to get down to a diver safely and pull them up safely. Safeties have done a lot of training.
30 seconds.
The safer we're diving, the less extreme a sport becomes. And I think that's exactly what Ilya was saying, is that if you are not following safety best practices, you are not...
45 seconds.
Yeah, if you're not diving safely, yes, it's an extreme sport. But if you're following all safety measures, you are taking care of yourself. I think most athletes here would say that it is not an extreme sport. Okay, we're turning around, heading back up.
115.
50 meters.
He did a little bit of an arm pull back there. And I don't quite know if he's allowed to do an arm pull that deep. So that'll be something that, if the judges didn't see now on their dive-eye footage, they will review later on and will give an additional judgment if they need to. Safety 1, safety 2.
Outside.
2 minutes.
Here we go, ascending up to the surface, riding the positive buoyancy. Driving up nice and high. I'm okay. The diver has to perform the surface protocol where they remove their nose clip, they remove any eyewear that they're wearing, give an okay sign, and then we wait for the judge's decision. You can see the tag sitting there in his hood. And we've got a white card. Fantastic, Ilya. Very nice. Looks like we got 2 tags. And as we said yesterday, 2 tags does not mean 2 white cards, unfortunately. But very nicely done, Ilya. Great dive. Next up, we have Afa Zhang of Taiwan doing another 66-meter dive with an announced time of 2:15.
So it's gauge A1.
7C. So, just guys.
Dive 3, 65.
Again, as we were discussing yesterday,
65.6.
some kind of company needs to step in and start doing some branding on these pool noodles.
So what we're gonna
And look
do
at the
now,
ingenuity here.
we will set
We
the
have this
line
noodle
to-
strapped together
First we will
with a
set the
string
line to
around it.
70 meters, and then we're gonna lift from
There are
70
so many opportunities here,
meters. The real depth
and freedivers would buy some custom-made noodles, I'm sure.
9.5. Yeah, but let's
So
go
again,
for 70 and then
If anybody wants to go into a partnership, I'm very happy to give you all the ideas that I have.
30 seconds.
I've had a lot of opportunities to chat with Afa over the last
70 meters.
2.5 weeks, 3 weeks that I've been here. And he is an amazing person. He has so much style, such a fun personality.
A little bit lower.
A little bit lower, please.
And he's just a very sweet guy.
Okay.
Line set.
71. Official top.
Afa does a lot of mermaiding, which, if you don't know, is basically there are a lot of companies and individuals that produce mermaid fins for people to then wear, and people will go to pool parties and they'll go to local aquariums, and these mermaids will jump in the water and wear these amazing and extravagant and beautiful tails and swim around and blow bubble rings at people, take lots of photos, and generally they look really, really cool. And Afa is not only a mermaid, but also a mermaid teacher and a freediving instructor at a school in Taiwan named Deep Seoul. So if you're there and you want to take a freediving course or a mermaiding course, definitely reach out to Afa on Instagram, and I'm sure he can help you out. In his day job, he is also a model, and he also does some pole dancing for fun, which is pretty cool. And here we go. As you can see, Afa just stuck the tag to his wristband. The wristband is made of Velcro, and so it's a nice place for divers to stick the tag if they don't have a band that goes around their leg or they don't want to shove it into their hood. Ascending nice and quickly. Still looking nice and relaxed though.
3 minutes.
Straightening up a little bit, joined by our first safety.
2 minutes.
Got an arm pull, floating up to the surface, grabbing up nice and high. Nose clip off, mask off. I'm okay with the flick of the wrist. Nice big smile. Looking totally fresh. Little wink for good measure. Oh, Afa. And a white card. Fantastic.
2 minutes to the official top.
Really nice dive.
Next set, 70 meters, so going down in front.
Okay. Next up we have Xavier Daru of France doing a 70-meter dive with an announced time of 2:45.
2:30.
70, I'll take that, Judge.
As you can see, Xavier has his coach with him. Each athlete is allowed to have a coach with them in the water.
Happy with that, Olga? A little bit more? So can we hog them up a little bit more, sorry.
1 minute.
Work, we do it. And stop.
And the coaches can be there for a variety of reasons. They can be there simply in the beginning to remind the diver to relax, to do a little bit of a body scan or something. Other divers will have a coach with them in the water for the beginning part to
30 seconds.
relay the voices of the judges. In this case, Xavier is laying with his ears under the water, with his hood over his ears, and so a lot of times the official top times are a bit muffled. And so having a coach there to sort of relay the number to them is helpful.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then after a dive, the coach is there to help guide the athlete through their surface protocol.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And here we go. Really nice duck dive.
Xavier Daru from France, 70 meters. Dive
Once
time.
again, kicking through the positive buoyancy on the surface. In the background, we see one of our cameramen taking a lot of photos of the event. We're at 20 meters now.
30 seconds.
30 meters. As you can see, his cheeks are puffed out. He's doing this because
45 seconds.
of a technique called the mouth fill.
4 minutes.
Mouth fill is an advanced technique used by athletes to get to deeper and deeper depths. At around 40 meters, all of the air in your lungs is compressed down to a very small amount. So if you were, for example, to push all of the air out of your lungs as much as you could and then hold your breath in that way, that's what residual volume, whoop, dropping right past the stopper, which is exactly why it's there. Residual volume feels like if you've pushed all the air out of your lungs. And so in order to be able to continue to equalize, many divers will charge a mouth fill, as it's called, which means they move air from their lungs while they still can up to their cheeks, and then they close off their glottis, which is basically a flap of skin that covers your throat from your lungs, so nothing gets into your lungs while you're eating or swallowing. And so a diver will close that off and then only use the air in their mouth to slowly equalize more and more as they go deeper and deeper. We have a nice slow ascent here.
Outside.
There's sort of a trade-off between speed and relaxation, where if you are going very fast, you're using a lot of oxygen and a lot of energy, but you get up much more quickly. Or if you are more relaxed and slow, you can conserve more oxygen, but your dive is longer. And so we are, at this point, 15 seconds above the announced time, but Xavier looks okay.
I am okay.
He is okay.
Really okay.
We have our tag.
130.
He's making me a little nervous with how close he's letting his mouth get to the water. Again, one of the things that the judges are looking for is airways to go underwater as a reason to DQ. And so that's why sometimes you see a lot of divers grab really high up. Ooh, okay, so we do have a red card. We'll see if we can figure out what the exact reason was, but I wonder if it could have been because his airways dropped below the water. All divers have the opportunity to protest the decisions of a judge. That happens after all of the judges have reviewed all the footage and the unofficial results have been posted. Divers have time to then challenge those results if they want to. Next up we have Petar Klovar of Croatia. As you can see, Petar is doing some packing on the surface.
So, run.
That was a neat little graphic there. He was doing some packing on the surface. Packing is an advanced technique used to add extra air into your lungs. Once again, this is a technique that, while it does add a little bit of extra oxygen into the overall, your overall system, mostly the reason divers do it is in order to be able to charge their mouthful, which we can see Petar has now, at a deeper depth, which allows them to equalize at deeper and deeper depths. As you can see, he has his hands, his fingers on the tips of his legs. A lot of divers will do that to maintain streamline, which means, and that in turn means keeping their speed consistent as they go down.
Okay, so for
There's a touchdown. Very nice.
Okay.
A little bit of a shake in the arms.
That was quite obvious. Understand? Yeah.
Nice technique coming up.
Could you just check with Nadia if he was so deep under the waves?
I was just told that Xavier got a red card because he wiped his face twice before the judges gave their decision. You are allowed one face wipe, and then you must wait. We've got all of our safeties watching. There we go. I'm okay. Grabbing up nice and high. If you look, you can see a little round button on top of his head. That is his dive computer. Divers set alarms at different depths to be reminded to take their mouth fill or to let them know that they're a few meters away from... There we go. Very nice, white card. They'll use the dive computer to remind them of when they're getting close to the bottom so they can get ready to reach down and grab the tag and then come right back up again. And sometimes the divers will not hear their dive alarms if it's not, if they're just in a really relaxed state. And so a lot of divers will just shove it either on top of their head or at the back of their neck in their wetsuit.
70.1, 220 dive time.
And it seems to work for most people.
Dive 4.
Here we can see some of our judges. In addition to all of the footage from the dive eye, all of the judges are also recording the dives from the surface, looking at surface protocol, looking at a good dive technique, and all of that then goes into their decision after a dive when they're reviewing footage. Next up we have David Mellor of the UK.
20.
There we go, that's David. David has announced 70 meters with a 2:35 dive time.
3, 2, 1. Official top. That's 1, 2, 3.
Sporting a pink octopus nose clip.
7, 8, 9.
He is also using fluid-filled goggles.
Start, okay.
David Mellor from Great Britain, 70 meters. Dive time 2:35. 35.
I had the pleasure of meeting David as one of the first people that I met when I came here, when I got here for this trip, and he has had me laughing since day one. This man is so funny, always joking, always laughing at something, and it's just an absolute sweetheart. And I think everyone here who knows him, and everyone anywhere else who knows him, would definitely agree with me. When David was younger, he used to play football,
1 minute.
soccer for the American folks out there, and represented the UK as a goalkeeper, which is pretty cool.
65.
There we go. Got the tag,
115.
putting it on a little piece of Velcro on his weight, or on his waistband.
60 meters.
Good kicking technique.
50 meters.
As we'll see today, some divers dive with their arms at their sides, and other divers will dive with their arms above their heads. Again, as I was saying, this is sort of a trade-off between speed and relaxation. If you hold your arms above your head, you are obviously more streamlined, so you can cut through the water more quickly, but it takes energy to hold your arms up there. Whereas how David is diving is his arms are at his sides. He is not as streamlined, but he is more relaxed. And as I've said numerous times, it comes down to what kind of diver you are. Incidentally, this is a PB for Dave.
I'm okay.
He's okay. Looking nice and fresh, smiling as he usually is.
Yes, he has.
We've got the tag and a white card. Very nice, David. Great job. Making it look easy.
After this. Oh, sorry, after you.
It's nice before the girls team, right?
Getting a little view now of the back of the boat. Some divers getting ready,
A1.
sitting with their coaches, taking some photos.
A1.
Down 2 meters.
As I was saying yesterday, this is a really,
Dive number 5.
really cool group of people,
17.3 meters.
really
Dive
awesome,
time, 2 minutes 30.
and just amazing family.
Second?
Everyone here is very supportive of each other, always giving feedback,
Yeah.
constructive criticism.
Can we
Everyone's
have
always
it?
asking,
Can you take
how does this
this?
dive look? What can I change? What can I improve? There's definitely no gatekeeping of information going on
For
here.
heartbeat here. Okay. Like this.
Moving on to Arne Steckenborn of Germany.
It's okay. No problem.
Arne's last competition that he competed in was at the German Depth Championship in August of this year. He got first place in CNF and in constant weight, and became the German champion in those disciplines, which is pretty fantastic. Congratulations to him. Today he is doing a 70-meter dive with a 2:25 announced dive time.
Thank you.
As I was just saying, every diver is different, and we can see Arne now demonstrating a bit more of a streamlined position on his descent. We've got an arm pull as we slowly move into neutral and then negative buoyancy.
30 meters.
45 seconds.
40 meters.
Still kicking.
50 meters.
Okay, and finally hitting his free fall. Looking really nice and relaxed. Really great position. Whoop. There we go. A little far away from the line on that one. I haven't heard any condition reports yet, but there might be a little bit of a current down there that's pushing some of the divers away from the dive line. Most of the divers here have been with us for a few weeks now in Cyprus, and part of what they've been doing is they've been training with the conditions that are here. So dealing with a little bit of current, dealing with a little bit of surface activity, and getting used to all of that. The more variables that a diver can account for and feel comfortable with on their dive, the better they'll feel and the better dive that they'll have. There we go. Nice and high on the line. I'm okay. Arne has 2 daughters at home watching, Katerina and Margareta. And they have to be very excited. Their dad got a white card just now. Congratulations, Arne. Here we can see some of the judges looking at themselves. They also have access to the live stream that we're watching. And again, they're watching to make sure that that the diver is not doing any weird pulling on the bottom that they're not supposed to be, as that would be a disqualification. Next up we have Nicolas Gallo of France, doing a 72-meter dive with an announced time of 2:08, which is not only 2 minutes deeper than our last dive, but also almost 15 seconds faster. Nicolas is 36 now, but started diving at 27. He started diving when he was in the Philippines, and quickly did his AIDA instructor course and did a few pool and small depth competitions soon after that.
Yes. Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
At the Nice Abyss contest in June of this year, he placed third place in this discipline of bifins, and was actually able to share the podium with Vitomir and Abdelatif Alouach, who will be diving later today as well, which is a pretty cool thing to brag about, I have to say.
Nicolas Gallo from France, 72 meters, lifetime 2:08.
Nice and fast, cutting through the positive buoyancy once again. Looking really nice and relaxed. Taking his arm pull at 50 meters. And beginning his free fall. You can see once again he has his fingers placed on his upper thighs. A lot of divers will do that to keep their arms in. Here we go. Nice turn at the bottom. Coming back up, streamlining, cutting through the water, kicking very powerfully. You can see he's doing 1.5 meters per second, basically, which is a pretty fast speed, especially for a depth like this. And you can see his wetsuit rippling as he cuts through the water. Safety diver number 1. Safety diver number 2.
Respire Nico, pensez. Signe.
I am okay.
Super. Respire bien, prends ton temps, tranquille. C'est bien, ça respire.
Lips a little blue, but doing okay.
Super.
Of course I did.
Got our tag. Waiting for the judge's decision. And we've got a white card. Fantastic. Really nice dive. 7 seconds faster than the announced time. Announced times don't necessarily mean anything for for any kind of scoring. It's mostly to help all the teams sort of know, the safety team and medical team know who's doing what and what these sort of estimated times are for everything.
Correct. 130. That was computer A2, dive number 4. The depth was 72.3. The dive time was 2 minutes.
Definitely here looking at some cute dog photos on the internet.
Okay.
There's nothing else it could be. I mean, what else would you look at on the internet? Next up we have Hyechan Kim of Korea.
1 minute. 90 meters.
As he's breathing up, he was saying that he thinks about positive thoughts, positive experiences.
100 meters.
Whoop. There we go. We're back. Positive thoughts, positive experiences,
30 seconds.
keeping everything feeling really good.
110, 111, 12, 13, 14.
On his right wrist, you can see the official dive watch. Each diver gets an official watch for their individual dive.
Okay.
That then is used by the judges to check their depth
Yeah, but here.
and official dive time, which then all goes towards their scoring and just general record keeping information. Here we have Hyechan going down, taking a mouthfill at around 30. Looking really good, holding his nose. Really nice streamlined position.
5 seconds. 4 minutes.
Looking really nice and relaxed. Reaching out, grabbing the line, getting the tag, and coming back up. Hyechan has been competing in competitions every year since 2017. So he has a lot of experience not only dealing with judges and competition nerves, but also just relaxing and doing lots of dives under some pressure, which is fantastic. His goal in this competition is to just get lots of white cards, maybe do a personal best or two, but mostly just to enjoy the dives and have fun. which I think is a really great attitude to come into this competition with. Breathing, breathing. I'm okay. Looking really nice and fresh. Waiting for the judge's decision. And we've got a white card. Fantastic. Very nicely done, making it look really easy. Next up, we have Alexei Molchanov, the one and only. This will be a world record attempt. He has announced 4:30 for this dive time, which is a pretty long dive time, if I may say so myself. Dressed in his typical all-gold wetsuit and attire, we're definitely going to see something pretty amazing here today. Last year in Sharm el-Sheikh, he set the world record for bifins at 1:13. And knowing that Abdelatif Alouach was going to be coming for his world record, he announced 1 meter more than what he thought Abdelatif would. And so that's why we are getting a +2 meters on the previous world record that he set. Alexei also holds world records in constant weight with 131 meters and free immersion at 126 meters.
Start okay?
And we begin.
150, dive time, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. World record attempt.
Hello, come join me. We're in the middle of watching Alexei's dive.
Yeah, cool. Proposing myself to help you comment on Abdel's dive from the French team.
Amazing, thank you.
Cool.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, like now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Nico from the French team. I just did my dive, super happy.
Yeah.
White card, 72 meters.
Congratulations.
Now I'm coming to help you say a little word about Abdel, who's going to dive next, and of course enjoying Alex's dive for his world record attempt.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, Alexei has a bit more of a slow and relaxed style.
Yeah, I think his dive time is 4:30 something. Like
He announced
yeah.
4:30.
Yeah, he does really long dive.
Yeah, very, very long dives. But has amazing position. Every now and then gives a little bit of a kick to maintain his speed. We're dropping at about 1 meter per second at this point. And he just makes it look so easy. Like this is years and years of training just being demonstrated in this one moment.
145.
have an alarm to tell him to start looking for the end of the line soon.
Yeah. Yeah, getting close to the line again.
Boom.
There we go. Touchdown, 115.
Ooh, okay, that's really slow and nice.
Yeah. It's sort of difficult to tell, but I wonder if he may have pulled above the candy cane. It's very tough to tell. We have a bit of glare on our screen here, but I really hope not.
Can't help you on that one, I didn't see it.
No worries. I'm sure the judges will definitely let us know if it was not.
I didn't feel any current on my dive, but I didn't go that deep.
Okay.
At least for the first 72 meters. The conditions were just perfect.
Amazing. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I think there was a little point at one point where you were a bit far away from the line.
Yeah?
I think so.
I didn't feel it. Maybe.
Although, to be fair, it could also be that I have been looking at dives over the last 2 days and everyone's dives is just blending together.
It looks really slow and relaxed.
Really slow and relaxed. Still has a full minute from his announced time to get back up to the surface.
Okay, first safety.
First safety with the scooter.
Yeah. So they said that dives deeper than 80 meters, there would be someone with a scooter.
Yes.
It's a nice close-up.
Mm-hmm. Looking good.
Fresh.
Yeah.
And he really likes to glide.
Yes.
The last meters.
Yeah.
Of his dive. That's also why they are so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the last 30 meters are really slow for him. See,
Yeah.
he's not moving. Oh. No. Okay, that's not a grab.
Okay. Nope,
That's
we're
all
good.
right.
Still good.
That's alright. Yeah. For the line. Looks fresh. Looks like a strong dive.
Yeah.
Turn towards
Looks
the
good.
judges.
Yep. Over here, Lexi.
Okay.
Over here.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Looks like a very good dive.
Looks like a very good dive. My goodness. We have a tag, so that's always a plus. And a world record. Very nice.
The thing you mentioned about the tag is we're just losing 1 point if we don't have the tag, but on a world
Okay.
record attempt, if he doesn't bring the tag and it's a yellow card, then he doesn't have the world record.
Oh, okay. That is good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was a new world record of 115, which is pretty spectacular.
And the world records for bifins this year, they're falling one after the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you think that in the last championships, bifin wasn't even the proper discipline, there wasn't
Yes.
even a bifin. Now there's a lot of people doing bifins and world records, like they're adding meters after meter, and I'm
That's
not
right.
surprised that they're gonna reach very soon the 120 thing.
I agree, yeah. Yeah, this is the first World Championship where constant weight bifins has been a legal event.
At least for AIDA, yes.
Yes, for AIDA.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And then the world record, the first time there's the bifin at the World Championships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So up next we have Abdelatif Alouach of France, which will be here to help me commentate.
Yeah.
I haven't had much of a chance to chat with him, so it'll be really great to have you here giving some
Sure.
feedback, some maybe behind the scenes like dirt on him so we can
I
chat
don't
about
have any
him.
dirt on him. He's
Oh.
super clean.
Okay.
Like
well,
every French team member.
like every French team member.
Yeah.
Nothing. No dirt.
Nah, no dirt at all. So Abdel, I guess, is here with Chantal, his coach,
Okay.
who's also an athlete.
Yes.
She did her, I think, 60 meters bifin dive yesterday with a white card. And they're coaching each other. I think they've been around like that for a few years already.
Okay.
And Abdel is training in Corsica, which is an island in south of France, along with Chantal as well. They have a freediving center there, and I know a few members from the French team are also training there in Corsica, in Ajaccio. So I'm expecting a very good dive from Abdel. He looks super relaxed those days, very confident in his ability to do his dive.
And he's announced 4 minutes for this dive time.
Yeah, so Abdel used to dive slower than that, and I think he worked a lot on his technique this year, and he's going way faster than before. That kind of dive, he used to do it in 4:30, even more.
Okay.
So I remember in 2019, where bifin was not even yet a discipline, he did constant weight bifin dives with the constant weight monofin people.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, it was 110 meters, and it was more than 4 minutes 40.
Wow.
I was actually doing his safety for this dive because I was in the safety team at the last championships in Nice. And I remember seeing him underwater, and he was super fresh, even after a super long dive like that. So
yeah,
he must have changed something in his technique. So now he's also changed his fins, different finning technique, different fins, and he's faster than before now.
Do you know if he does, like, what kind of dry training he does?
Honestly, I don't.
Okay. Because, yeah, I mean, I have a 730 static PB.
That's nice.
Thank you, yes. But even still, like, you know, I can't imagine, you know, finning and doing a dive for close to 5 minutes.
It's really different. I guess a good static definitely helps you, but you also have people who only like to do either pool discipline or depth discipline, but not the static, who actually hate static. You can do maybe 4 minutes plus dives, kicking and finning, but they would have 6 minutes static because they just don't like it.
Yeah.
So there's no real correlation between your static time and your ability to spend a lot of time underwater.
Completely.
When you're moving.
Yes, right. They're basically completely different apples and oranges. You cannot compare. They help each other.
I think it's also good for the mind to know that you're able to spend that amount of time without breathing. And for me, I think a good static helps, especially in the free fall, because free fall is mainly doing static and focusing on your equalization.
Yeah. Okay, we're about to begin.
Yeah. Come on, Abdel.
Abdelatif Alouach from France announced performance on chapter 11, dive time 4 minutes.
So at the last championships, Abdel won the overall prize among the 3 disciplines at that time. He was ranked first with super nice performance in free immersion and no fins as well.
Amazing. And he's top 2 in constant weight, bifins, and
immersion. He's really good everywhere, and this year he's also doing the monofin because he targets a really good place and the overall results. Okay, so already free falling at about 55 meters.
And looking really, really nice and relaxed, great position.
Abdel is a very, very good spearfisher. That's how he got into freediving, and he's actually not doing deep freediving for a long time. He started, only a few years ago, but he used to do a lot of spearfishing and deep spearfishing.
Okay. And I assume he's competed in spearfishing as well?
I'm not sure about that. I really don't know. I think it was mainly for like to bring back fish.
Fair enough.
Really to bring back medals.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Right. Almost there.
Almost there.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
All right. We definitely can't see. Yeah, we can see the candy cane, and
yes,
and to me, there's absolutely no issue with his pull.
No issues with the pull. Beginning the ascent back to the surface.
What's that? 111.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Maybe be a little bit of current here, or he's just trying to get closer to the line.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I know at depth, some divers don't want to move to a streamlined position.
Yeah, maybe to protect your lungs from the squeeze.
Protect your lungs from the squeeze. And so moving from a less streamlined position at a deep depth to a more streamlined position as you go up protects your lungs from any kind of squeeze or pressure-related injury.
Yeah. Really slow and relax.
Mm.
Okay, 3 minutes.
He might be a little bit faster than the 4 minutes he announced.
He might be a
depending
little
if
bit.
he's gliding a lot
That's
when
true.
reaching the surface as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking good.
Safety here.
Moving the nose clip.
Yeah. Last 15 meters.
Last 15, we're nearly
This
there.
is where everything happens.
Yeah.
Everything
Come on,
looks
Abdel.
fine. Right.
Yeah, looking okay. Just
Surfacing.
riding up.
Yeah. He looks fresh.
Nice strong grab.
Yes.
He's okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, looking good. Continuing to do his recovery breathing. Got a smile.
Abdel is always smiling.
Amazing.
He's even smiling underwater. Seems like a white card.
Sounds like it's gonna be a white card.
Yes.
There we go.
Congratulations, Abdel.
Congratulations.
Beautiful.
Amazing dive.
Triple one dive.
Yeah, that's got to count for something, right? Awesome. Whew. All right. Taking photos at the back of the boat.
All right, I think we're gonna have to take the next boat.
Amazing.
COVID
Thank you so much for
reasons.
coming. Yes,
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy the
And
rest of the day, and
I
I hope
will-
you're gonna see a beautiful dive.
I've
Beautiful dives.
I've seen many beautiful dives, and I will continue to see them.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Nicolas. Up next, we have Christos Careless of Greece. He has announced 100 meters with a 2:45 announced time.
111.3. 4 minutes 04. B1 6.
100 meters on the next set.
Christos holds the national record for constant weight bifins at 105 meters. And he has held the record since the record was 75 meters. So he is kind of a professional, if I may say so. He also holds the Greek record for constant weight at 117 meters. And I have written down that he has broken his record 5 times since it was 104 meters. He did 104, then 107, 110, 114, and it now sits at 117. Today we're doing a nice easy dive just down to 100. One of the reasons why he has a bit lower of a announced depth is because he just wants to get some experience, as this is his first World Championship. So I'm sure there's some planning ahead for the competition nerves. I don't know if he has ever done a dive on Dive Eye, but after speaking to a lot of the divers yesterday, they were saying that there's just a lot of extra pressure from having this camera on them the entire dive. A lot of divers, when they compete, they're either at smaller competitions or competitions that don't have the Dive Eye there. And as such, it's sort of a extra thing that they don't have to think about. Christos was saying that he only dives for sport and only dives for depth, which, I mean, some people just want to go deep, you know? He has 1 minute to official top.
Line are dissolved and secure. Official gate is on.
Christos was saying that one of his biggest supporters in his freediving career has been his coach, Dimitris Koumoulis. He's the owner of the One Breath freediving school in Greece. And also his family, who's been there for him, and he just wants to thank all of them for his support, or for their support. When Christos is not diving, he actually makes wooden spear guns. He's the owner of the Sectus spear guns company in Greece. So if you're interested in wooden spear guns, please go check out that company. Again, 100-meter dive with a 2:45 announced depth, announced dive time. As we can see, this is already a much quicker dive than Abdel's and Alexi's. Taking a few final kicks and gliding. 60 meters and entering free fall. This is a really great free fall. Looks really nice and relaxed, and nice and streamlined as well. Nice grab at the bottom, nice pull on the candy cane. Once again, we saw arms down at the sides at deeper depth, and then as he's gone up, he's moved to a more streamlined position. Again, protecting the airways, reducing the risk of a squeeze. on many of these deeper dives, the divers start to experience lactic acid buildup in their legs from all their kicking. One of the byproducts of the body. Ooh, oh. You can see we've had a bit. Here we go. Safeties are covering the airways. Getting him to the surface as quickly as possible. Removing the nose clip. They're blowing across his face. We have receptors in our face that can sense when we're on the surface. Giving some breaths, and he'll be taken over to the medical boat. Oop. There we go. He's conscious. They're going to take him to the boat now. They're going to give him some oxygen. Great job by the safety team catching that loss of motor control. Ugh, Christos has to be frustrated with that one. Yeah, they'll give him oxygen. Let him recover.
Okay, let's do the line, guys.
Up next we have Vitomir Maricic of Croatia.
5 minutes.
Let me quickly shuffle my notes around here.
We go 91 meter.
Yeah, up next we have Vitomir Maricic, followed by Dean Schausch,
91.
Sergey Zaikov,
Actually, 90.
and Evgeny Saichev. Saichev. There we go. Vitomir is going to be attempting a national record. I'm looking at my notes here, and it says Vitomir has a static breath hold of 8 minutes and 56 seconds. That is a pretty exceptional breath hold. I believe the world record is set somewhere around 11:30, although I don't have that information offhand. In the past, Vitomir held the dynamic bifins world record and also the no fins world record. And he also holds the current national record for Croatia for bifins at 97 meters. This dive will also be a personal best for Vitomir. His current PB for constant weight
3 minutes.
is 99 meters, so he'll be joining the 100 meter club today, hopefully. One more thing to note about Vitomir's very extensive records is that across all of the points given to him by his records that he holds in AIDA, he has the #1 ranking. And that's including static, dynamic in the pool, and depth disciplines.
2 minutes to official top.
Vitomir has been diving basically all his life, but only started competing about 4 years ago. And he has competed in all major events since CMAS and AIDA, in pool depths, Grand Prix, everything. He's the president of AIDA Croatia and a CMAS judge, and organizes 8 competitions per year, with the biggest one being the Adriatic Depth Trophy in September.
1 minute.
It is also the only competition that is both AIDA and CMAS monitored. He's looking nice and relaxed here on the surface. I asked a lot of the divers here what kind of dry training that they do for competition, for getting ready, and Vitomir's response was he doesn't have time because he's always doing training in pool or in depth, which, I mean, is definitely one way to do your training, you know? Okay, we begin. Really nice slow kicking, getting to free fall at around 30. Getting a few kicks here and there to keep up his speed.
45 seconds.
Little adjustment on the nose clip. Wow, looking really nice and relaxed. Wow, just making this free fall look really, really easy. This dive really easy. Nice turn. Coming back up. If you look very closely on top of his head, you can see his dive computer sticking up. Again, moving to a more streamlined position.
2 minutes.
for safety. Still looking strong. Legs are looking a little tired, but that's to be expected after a 100-meter dive. It's going to very slowly float back up to the surface. Grabbing, moving the nose clip. I'm okay. Looking really nice and fresh still. Got our tag. And a white card. Fantastic. The dive time was exactly what he announced at 3:15. And as someone who does lots of diving, has their dive planned out to the second, it's not surprising. Congratulations, Vitomir. Up next we have Dean Schausch from Great Britain.
7B1.
Next to him you can see Dan Verhoeven, one of the 3 photographers that we have here. Dean sporting an ever stylish pink noodle. Dean dives, if you can see on his finger, using a more traditional swimming nose clip that professional swimmers will use. I believe that is because he does no hands equalizing. And so instead of using pressure to force his eustachian tubes open to equalize his ears, he instead has voluntary control of when he opens them. So he doesn't need to apply any pressure. He just does something magical in the back of his throat and in his ears, and they just pop open. So I believe that is why he uses a swimming nose clip, although I could be wrong. Maybe we'll be able to get him and ask him to make sure. Dean is a 10-time national record holder. He's also a coach, and he has a few courses online. One of the ones that I've taken myself personally is his no fins course for both pool and depth. And I definitely learned a lot. I was mostly following it during lockdown. So I didn't really have a chance to apply anything that I have learned yet. But there are a lot of subtleties with no fins that he definitely covers really, really well. And stuff that I did not either learn on my freediving course that I've taken or just talking to other athletes. So that course is a really great resource. If you want to go check it out, it's on freedivingfamily.com. As you'll see, a lot of divers do a lot of weird mouth stretching on the surface before their dive. This is partially just to get the eustachian tubes, the tubes that you equalize, or that you pop open when you equalize, sort of get them moving a little bit. Just do a little bit of stretching. As you can see, the wind has picked up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the wind has definitely picked up. We're supposed to get a little bit of wind today, which is why we pushed the time half an hour earlier. But the water conditions seem to look okay still. So until then, I'm just going to sit up here, hold all my papers down, and hopefully not lose any of my notes. Dean is going to be doing a 91-meter dive with an announced time of 3:05. Again, looking really nice and relaxed. Letting the waves just sort of move him around, not really fighting anything. Just going with the flow, as they say. And there he goes. Please excuse the noise on my end. I have had an umbrella malfunction, and I am making sure that doesn't fly away and land in any of the water. Okay, there we go. So we're at 40 meters now. Dean has a nice free fall. You can see his mouth fill really nicely there. Nice dive speed of around, or free fall speed of around 1 meter per second. As you can see, he made a move for the line a little bit before. He definitely has an alarm set for a few meters before the dive line ends. Very nice and relaxed. As you can see, it sort of looks like his stomach is sucked in. That's partially from, well, it is from the pressure at that depth. And again, what I was talking about earlier with residual volume, all of the gas in his lungs have been compressed down. And this umbrella is still moving. All the gas has been compressed down into a smaller area in his lungs. And it is visible on the outside. Continuing to kick. All the safeties are there with him, watching him. Still looking pretty good. Grabbing the line, looking towards the judges. Moving the nose clip, I'm okay. Smile on his face.
You have a tag. You can reach your tag.
Oh yeah, I have a tag.
Thank you. White card.
And a white card. Fantastic. Very nice, Dean. Congratulations. All these dives are looking really nice and easy.
So, A1.
Oof. The wind is definitely picking up now.
A1.
My umbrella got
7,
turned inside out, which is always an exciting thing to have happen when you are live on YouTube. But we're making it work. I have now adjusted myself so my body is covering the screen so I can look at it without any glare. And then during the break I will figure something out.
86 meters. That means
Up next we have Sergey Zaikov of Russia.
There's the break, I'll just put it here. Okay.
86 meters, 85 meters. The line.
Sergey will be doing a 90-meter dive with an announced time of 3 minutes. Sergey is based in Dahab and has a freediving school there.
A little bit down, so much.
We were chatting earlier and we were talking about his favorite disciplines.
Yeah, there's 90.
And he says he loves them all. He's in love with the sea, loves spending time in the water, and really anything he can do where he's swimming around, diving around, he wants to do it. During this competition, he wants to try and get white cards in all 4 events. So we'll be seeing a lot more of Sergey. And he wants to do at least one 100+ meter dive, which I think is a fantastic goal to have. I had a chance to chat with one of the safeties earlier the other day, and he gave me some really great information about the whole safety team, which I will do a little bit of reading for you now, just while we fill the time before. We have about 2.5 minutes before, 2 minutes now before official top. So Jimmy says that there are 4 safeties per dive. 1 safety is the main safety, meeting at around 25 to 30 meters, or 1/3 of the depth. And they are the ones that are responsible for making the call to help the diver underwater. In the case that we saw earlier, that first safety is the one that holds the airway shut in case of an underwater blackout, and they bring the diver back to the surface. Safety meets 10 meters shallower than the number 1 diver, and will assist safety number 1 by supporting the diver by the hips. Safety 3 is a surface safety, and is a backup in case safety 1 or 2 can't equalize and needs to turn around. In the case of a blackout, safety diver number 3 holds the diver above the surface by supporting the head, while safety number 2 does blow tap talk, which is again what happened and what we saw, where you tap on the cheek, you blow across the face, and you tell the diver to breathe, and you call them by their name. And safety 4 is on a backup scooter, which we've seen quite a few times for the deeper dives. And between every single dive, all of the safeties switch roles. So at one time, they're either resting on the surface, breathing up, they are doing the deep dive, or they're doing the shallow dive, or they are supporting. And in that way, all the safety divers are also making sure that they have a good recovery on the surface. They're diving safely. Because the safeties aren't diving safely, then how can they be expected to support the actual divers? You know what I mean? So thank you again, Jimmy, for that lovely description of what you all are doing in the water. And I'm sure we'll get to some more of the questions that I asked and you answered soon. Sergey getting ready, doing some packs. Turn and the dive. Doing a little bit of equalizing, adjusting of the nose clip. Whoop. So you can see dive eye is responding to the waves on the surface. Sergey is using a full mask, which one of the things when you use a full mask that you need to consider is the regulation of gas from your mouthfeel and your lungs and your body into your mask. Because the mask creates an extra airspace on the outside of the body. And as we've said, as a diver dives deeper and deeper, the air that is in that airspace gets compressed more and more. And so as a result, if you don't equalize that airspace, you risk having some kind of squeeze, which is a pressure-related injury. So Sergey is controlling the air that goes into his mask, while also controlling the air that he uses to equalize. Here we go, hitting the bottom. The other thing to consider with a dive like this using a mask is that you have to take extra air that you could be using to equalize comfortably to instead move it to the mask instead. And so it sort of adds an extra level of difficulty in a way to a dive like this. At the same time though, Sergey has used a mask all the time and he's quite comfortable doing it, so I'm sure it's not even a thought for him. Someone like me, who I just recently switched to using from a mask to a nose clip, it's a lot more thinking to have to think about in my case, with using a nose clip, not pushing as hard as I would normally for a Frenzel equalization, not having to worry about filling the mask as well. You know, these dives look easy, but there's a lot going on in a diver's mind. Or sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes if a diver has enough experience and they know what they're doing, it's just another day at the office for them. There we go, doing his recovery. Mask off. I'm okay. There's the tag. And a white card. Fantastic. Very nice dive, Sergey. We have one more dive, and then we're going to take our half-an-hour break. During the break, it would be fantastic if you could go to AIDA Freediving on Instagram. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if there are any athletes you'd like to hear from. And yeah, just generally tell us what's going on. Who are you at home watching with? Make sure you tag AIDA Freediving in any posts that you're posting. Make sure you're also using the hashtag AIDA WCH 2021. And we'll definitely be posting some of your content. So please do share, and we look forward to seeing it. Next up, we have Evgeny Sichev of Russia. He has a PB in constant weight of 90 meters, or constant weight bifins of 90 meters, and constant weight using the monofin at 101.
4 minutes. Planet is on and secure. Official gauge is on. Planet is set to 86 meters. Thank you.
Bifins is one of his favorite disciplines. And when he is not freediving, he's playing basketball, which a lot of the divers have activities that they do sort of as maintenance and for their physical. Why is the word escaping me? Their physical abilities. So instead of only doing freediving all the time, training the same muscles all the time, they do other sports to sort of keep themselves rounded and well-balanced athletes. Oof! I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the wind is picking up. We're supposed to potentially have gusts of up to 80 miles per hour, which please forgive me, everyone using metric, I don't know what that comes out to. But sitting up here on top of a boat, I can definitely feel it. I'm feeling a little windswept.
2 minutes to the official stop.
So Evgeny is going to be doing an 86-meter dive with an announced time of 2:45. One of the last competitions that he participated in was the Russian Championship in the Blue Lake with 9 degrees Celsius water. And as somebody who does a lot of diving in South Africa, on the Atlantic side with waters around that temperature, I can tell you that it is, in my opinion, not a lot of fun.
1 minute.
I am somebody who loves the warm waters of Limassol, Cyprus, for example. We have, I believe, 82 or 28 degrees Celsius, 82 Fahrenheit. I know that because 28 and 82 flipped are the same thing. So if you want to start to move from one of the temperature disciplines to the other, you can start with 28 and 82. But yeah, so diving in a competition with 9-degree water is definitely no joke. I don't think I would ever participate in a competition with that kind of water. But there are many people who love diving in water like that, or water even colder. You can check out some of the events where they dive under ice, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, but there's some people out there who like to do it, so who am I to judge?
Start again.
Evgeny Dikhin from Russia, 86 meters.
Evgeny is a freediving instructor trainer and a coach and sometimes an underwater photographer. So make sure you are following him on Instagram to check out all of his photography. If you want to take the course in St. Petersburg, that's where he's located, so make sure you reach out to him there.
30 seconds.
And once again, all of the athletes' social media, Instagram profiles will be posted in the comments of this video, as you can easily find them once we post the recording.
45 seconds.
50 meters.
He was telling me that if he could go anywhere in the world to train, it would either be Dean's Blue Hole, because of the absolute perfect conditions, no current, everything amazing, or Kalamata for the good conditions with a nice thermocline.
80 meters.
Ooh, early turn. Oh. Early turn at 81 meters.
130.
Again, as we said before, a lot of times the issues come from equalization.
145.
One of the things that can happen with the mouth fill is that as you're equalizing, if you push too much, the gas can sort of be pushed past your glottis, which is basically the seal that stops the air from going back into your lungs. And if you do that and you push too hard, that can break that seal and you can lose the air. The air will then rush back into your lungs because gases want to flow from high pressure to a low pressure to equalize out again. And sometimes that just happens. And as we were saying, it's always better to turn early. Even though he was 5 meters away, it's always better to turn early, protect your eardrums, protect yourself, and dive another day. looking fine on the surface. Still has a smile on his face though. An 81-meter dive is nothing to scoff at.
Dive number 6, 81.8.
Let's see, I haven't been able to hear what the judges have said, but I'm going to assume it's a yellow card.
2 minutes 32.
I don't see any reason why it would be a red card. And because he didn't hit the bottom and didn't get a tag, it is not a white card. So until we hear otherwise, let's assume it's a yellow card. On the little pontoon boat, we can see half of our medical team. There we go, yeah, yellow card. You can see half the medical team, some of the safeties, some of the judges. So, in that case, we are officially on our break. You can see some of the judges getting food, getting water. And, yeah, I'm going to try, hello. I'm going to try and figure out my new shade situation because the sun is now coming from behind me. And my screen that I have in front of me is very difficult to see. So we'll see what we can do, and I will see you in about 30 minutes. Cool, thanks.
Is there one computer here? Okay, I want to
On the way up for the camera.
I don't know. You sure?
Okay, you take? You take, yeah? We bring up for the, guys, we bring line up for the parallel, huh?
We leave the line up. We need to make safe there, huh? I was just saying we need to have it safe there for the guy that goes in the middle because it's gonna get snagged. Go there, you hold the boat, the other one is going up.
Best Dive has more than 20 years of experience in developing and manufacturing wetsuits. We use 100% Yamamoto neoprene with exclusive material license in China. Freediving champion Jessie Liu is our global ambassador. We collaborate closely with international and domestic freediving events. In 2018, Best Dive was awarded the title of the most popular domestic brand by AIDA China. We offer a variety of styles and high-quality services. You are welcomed at Best Dive.
Let's bake ourselves a treat. What you've been mixing, serve it up the way you please. I love the way you shake, you stir, you heat, you squeeze. So thick, push up and butter me. So poke that, push that, shake that, smack that, mix that, help that, marinate that. We don't need a recipe. Whip that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me, baby, shade up. We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. Whip that cream, whip that squeeze. It's almost ready, we've been craving this all week. Baby, you want it, I got it. I'm hooked on you like phonics. Gotta be honest, you're on it, and this ain't no time to be modest. Poke that, push that, shake that, girl, take your last name, let's hyphenate it. We don't need a recipe. Whip that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me. Baby, shade it. We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. Whip that cream, whip that
So you basically need to get out of your way to let you down?
No.
10.
Oh, we're live. Hello.
5,
Brandon.
4,
We are back.
3,
Part 2.
1.
I'm joined by
Official
Nathan.
talk.
Hey,
1,
Nathan
3,
from
4, from Canada.
And what's his last name?
Nathan Binsky.
Okay, great.
Start okay.
He's going to be commentating
Dean
for a little bit.
Cipollina
And then we also
from
have
United Kingdom.
Win. We're also going to be having some interviews coming up in a little bit with the divers in this dive. Up now we have Dean Cipollina of Great Britain. Dean is doing a 85-meter dive with a 2 minutes 50 announced dive time. Let's see.
He's looking really relaxed and smooth so far.
Yeah, looking really nice. Yeah, 45 meters, hitting free fall, looking nice and comfy. Yeah, if you notice, he has 2 little elastic bands on his thighs. A lot of divers will use those in order to stick their thumbs into, in order to keep themselves in a more streamlined position without having to hold any tension there. They're at 70, looking good.
Yeah, he's gonna make this real easy. Just right to the plate.
Yeah.
Perfect, right?
Nice and easy, quick
Yeah.
turn.
I'm really excited to get here to see him because I've been training with him a couple times. I've competed with him.
Oh, nice.
Know him, and it's really great to see like his bi-finning technique right now is perfect, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really great technique that he's demonstrating for us here now. Yeah, I've had some chances to speak with Dean. Super nice guy. Gave me some very quick tips on how to do no hands.
hands-free EQ, yeah.
Or hands-free equalizing, yeah. And while I haven't mastered it yet, I'm definitely on my way to trying to make at least some more progress on it.
I've been spending years working on that, and I can get 1 ear.
Okay.
But 1 ear is not good enough because the other one doesn't work, so.
Yeah, right. You can't really equalize fully that way. Now, as we can see, we've got our 3 safeties. Going with Dean.
He's gonna be fresh.
There we go. Got the okay. Doing his recovery. I was speaking with the judges about how waves factor into their decision on if a diver's airways go below the water with a wave. And they were saying, here's the tag, they were saying that, and a white card, fantastic.
Awesome card.
They were saying that if it's very clear that it was a wave and it was not intentional to go under the water, or they were still totally lucid and clear, and a wave just comes up, it's okay.
Yeah.
But they definitely do review the footage of that to make sure.
Yeah, I've been in a comp where I got dumped a couple times between recovery breaths. But then obviously, like, there's literally nothing I could do. I was like up to my waist, holding myself up on the line, and
yeah.
If it's the waves, it's the waves, and you don't really have a choice but to go for the ride.
Totally. Okay, up next we have Tygoon Kim from South Korea, doing 84 meters on a 3-minute dive time. This is a national record attempt. In the second half of our program for today, we have, 3, 6, 7, 8 national record attempts. So that's pretty fantastic. That's a lot of national record attempts.
Yeah, I think obviously with bifins being a relatively new discipline as well, it's depending on the country and
Yeah.
depending on the rules as well. Like some countries, it has to be a certain percentage of the constant weight record, but in other places, let's say the national records are, the bifins national records are quite available. But that's exciting it's like it brings like a new breath of fresh air into the sport. You can train for something new, set a new national record. There's maybe a little bit more competition for the national record.
Yeah,
So-
it reinvigorates the discipline.
Yeah.
No,
And
that's
also it's nice
true.
to see, like, you know, in many, with constant weight, the national records in many countries have been stagnant for a lot of years. But here you have like 3 to 4 people bouncing national records back and forth, which is really exciting and competitive.
No, totally.
Bierze. Raz, dwa, trzy, testuję mikrofon.
Oh, okay, so we've got our breathe up going on. Let's see here. Kyung-hun is sponsored by Double K, one of the sponsors of our event, which is fantastic. They make really great wetsuits. And they always look really cool too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a sort of Korean freediving community in Dahab, which is where I'm living right now and where I'm training a lot, and they always look like, if you have to like look at the different groups of freedivers, they always are let's say the best dressed, you know. They have this nice colorful smooth skins, brand new double K fins.
Very much kitted out. Yeah, no, totally.
I like the really inflated airplane pillow.
Yeah.
Especially in these conditions, like it's difficult to even breathe out of a snorkel.
Totally.
And holding yourself up on the lines of mission, so this is what he's doing right there. That's super comfortable as well. Right?
Yeah, and I've said a few times that there are some major opportunities here for a company to step in and start producing freediving specific flotation devices, noodles and neck pillows, and I've been checking my Instagram all the time, and no one has reached out for me for any kind of deal for a sponsorship or partnership. So I don't know. I'm looking. So if anybody wants to chat,
custom made pool noodles for freediving, right?
Let's figure it out. Let's make it happen. KD, as he likes to be called, mostly competes and dives for sport. Not so much for doing any kind of like fun diving or that sort of stuff. But his goal here is to just basically do as well as he can, and setting a national record is definitely a good step towards doing your very best, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you're the best in your country, that's obvious. That's already an amazing step to being like, if you're doing this as an athlete, if you're considering yourself an athlete, then setting a national record, being like #1 in your country is an amazing achievement.
Definitely. Okay, here we go. Getting our national record attempt.
So we're just thinking this one.
And to be fair, if he's doing 84 as a national record, but that's a very impressive dive in bifins. Like
it really is.
Not many people in the world are doing that. If you look at the whole freediving community, and obviously compared to a regular person.
Yeah, compared to a regular person, for sure. Someone who's never taken a freediving course, never done anything like that. Yeah, 84 meters is...
It's serious.
It's
like,
serious.
It's a big dive.
Yeah, 84 meters is almost the length of a football field. So, at least getting to the end of a football field. So, I mean, just try running that.
Or walking it on a breath hold as well.
Yeah, or walking it on a breath hold. Like, yeah, go have fun. That'll give you an idea of what these athletes are doing. KD is 43, but started diving around 4 years ago. And their last competition was in October in 2020 in Korea, where they did a 60-meter constant weight and bifins because cool, we got the tag, we're heading back up. Because the competition had a limit of 60 meters in the comp.
Yeah. So 60 in every discipline, and
yep. And he did it. So that's
that's
fantastic.
really impressive as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what the conditions are like in Korea, but a lot of comps as well are in really cold water, and I know there's a competition in Vancouver in Canada that's also limited to 60, but the water's like 12 or 8 degrees at depth.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I was saying I did all of my freediving courses and my instructor course in South Africa, and we learned to dive in very cold water.
Yeah.
I mean, going from cold water to warm water like this is, if you can do 40 meters in cold, dark water, you can do it very easily here and very comfortably.
Obviously, I haven't gotten to test the water yet, but it's not the warm. Depending on where you're training, this could also be considered cold water at depth, right?
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Like if you're coming from Dahab or Sharm el Sheikh or Philippines, it's going to be half the temperature.
Yeah, and that just blows my mind. Cool, we're still looking okay. I mean, his legs must be really tired at this point.
Yeah, he's looking a bit lactic, but I think he'll be fresh on the surface.
Yeah. Oh no,
it's not fresh on the surface, unfortunately.
Not fresh. Safety team is there, grabbing him, keeping airways out of the water.
And he's okay.
The sign okay.
For anyone out there who hasn't had a blackout, and I haven't had one in many, many years. It's been almost 7 years, but you don't realize what happened.
Yeah.
And when it's a short one like that, and you're just on the edge, usually as soon as you regain consciousness, in your mind nothing's happened.
Yeah.
And you go right back through your surface protocol. You tell the judges you're okay, and then you look very confused at them as to why
everyone looks so concerned.
Yeah, and why someone's holding you up and everything. So
yeah.
Obviously, he was only out for a few seconds, so he's going to be 100% fine.
Totally fine, yeah. And we were saying too earlier, I was chatting with one of the safeties, and they don't consider a blackout on the surface, especially like that, a medical emergency.
Yeah.
That is a medical emergency consists of some kind of squeeze or pressure-related injury, whereas a surface blackout like that is something that you very quickly bounce back from.
Yeah, I think it's not ideal, and
definitely.
it's not fun as an athlete. It's very taxing on the body. You'll feel it the next day. You'll feel quite tired. But like you said, if it's on the surface, you're never at risk of taking in any water in your lungs, and you're gonna bounce back really quick.
Right, exactly. Up next we have Michael Ko of Taiwan. I've had a lot of time to chat with Michael over the last 2.5 weeks that I've been here.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching him during all of the training sessions that we've had. He did a lot of quick progression, and then right before the pre-comp hit a bit of a plateau.
Okay.
Had a bit of a rough pre-comp, but since then he has. We actually chatted last night, and he was saying that he's going for the national record for bifins, which is 81 meters, but he is rather going to focus, rather than on the depth or the time, focus on enjoying the dive, having a really good session, a good dive, and if he gets a yellow card, he gets a yellow card for turning early. I think he's put a little bit of pressure on himself to continue to push and push.
I think as well, something that a lot of divers don't realize is when you do these mid progressions, when you're diving close to personal best, or you're setting personal best after personal best after personal best, it's really fatiguing on your nervous system.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, if you unfortunately don't time it perfectly, hit a plateau or you can be a little bit burnt out. And then I think if that happens, really your only option at that point is to decide, okay, I'm just going to enjoy these dives and I'm going to let my body, my subconscious, my nervous system take care of what's going to happen. If I enjoy it and it goes well, it goes well. If I enjoy it and it doesn't go well, then hopefully you can just learn from that, change around your training the next time, and make sure the timing's better, for example, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And that's sort of what we discussed last night as well, is that he's taken the last 6 days off. He's been relaxing, not really thinking about freediving even.
Yeah, that's perfect, actually.
And he's also been doing a lot of visualizations. We actually did a visualization session last night with him, where we did a nice little dive over a coral reef, and did some visualizations of like octopus and seals and all that fun stuff. And then after that we did a visualization of today.
Okay.
So starting from the moment he woke up, laying in bed, doing his visualization in the morning, walking to the boat launch, coming on the boat, doing his warm-ups, and to this point now of doing his dive.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, what you just said there, 6 days and then a visualization is perfect. Like, you're not gonna gain anything physically 6 days from comp.
Right.
You're only gonna gain fatigue, right? You're gonna get tired. But then if you can take that time off, enjoy yourself, do something different, recover, visualize, then hopefully all that pays off and we're gonna see a beautiful dive here.
Definitely. He was, so all during the pre-comp and during his trainings, he was saying that he was experiencing this weird like color shift in his eyes when he would open his eyes underwater, and his eyes would feel red and he would see double vision. And for the longest time he was like, I must be getting hypoxic and I must be getting narc.
Yeah.
But he was only getting it, he was starting at like 60 meters.
On the way down or on the way up?
On the way down.
On the way down, okay.
And after talking to Vitomir, they both concluded that actually his goggles were squeezing onto his eyes and they were pushing his eyes together, and that was causing the double vision.
Is he diving with hectometers, so they're...
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so they're dry inside and the water's pushing on the silicone.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. I've tried to dive with those and I cap out at about 35 meters. It just shuts my eyes and it kind of becomes more uncomfortable than the benefit.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone has a different face shape. And
definitely, and it's all about finding the equipment that works best for you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming down to the bottom. He's looking nice and relaxed.
Yeah, that descent looked honestly perfect.
Yeah.
Like super relaxed. And let's just see if he keeps kicking with good technique, keeps pushing up like...
Yeah.
Good technique, good power. He's looking really relaxed so far.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Keeping nice form in his arms, staying nice and streamlined.
Yeah. It looks like he's really taking his time, like conserving the legs, not trying to get any lactic in there.
Right. Yeah, and he announced 3 minutes for this dive time.
Oh yeah. So he's actually going to be faster than the announcement, I think.
I think he'll be a little faster, yeah. Yeah, there he goes, smiling.
Yeah, so he's already back in normal, fully recovered basically. Just going to be a bit tired later.
Just a little bit tired later. Cool.
What am I looking for? Are they going to say something?
Yeah, we'll give you a thumbs up.
Okay, up next we have Ivan Dobrzewski. I think I got that right, from Ukraine, doing a 81 meter dive with a announced 2:50 dive time. This will also be a national record for Ukraine. Yeah, I have to say the waves are picking up quite a bit more than what they were this morning. It was when I came out here around 7 o'clock this morning. It was
like a lake flat, right?
It was like a flat, just glass. It was amazing, absolutely beautiful. And now it is not so much. We're getting a few white caps.
I mean, that's the unfortunate reality of doing a sport that takes place in the sea or in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have control over what's gonna happen.
No.
You can plan it, like, you can do all your research, all the planning, and then you get what you get on the day, right?
Right.
And you get what you get time-wise as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, you know, that's part of the sport is, you know, having the mental resilience, the planning, the understanding that your training will get you through.
Yeah. I think that's one thing, and then you also, like, you can really play with it strategically, like, okay, am I going to announce according to what I can do in good conditions? Am I going to announce what I can do in the worst possible conditions?
Yeah.
You can check the weather, you can check the wind and all these other things, but like you said, you just, like I was saying before, you just kind of get what you get, and
totally.
There's an element of just shutting it off and just doing the dive anyway, and then there's an element of just making the call, like what am I going to do? Can I do my dive in these conditions? And
right.
I think, like, as a competitor, you normally you'll just go for it. I think, like, you know, I did a dive last year in Sharm el-Sheikh, and like I got on the line and it was crooked, and I was like, oh my god, this is a personal best, and I'm gonna do it. And like, luckily, I was prepared for more, so I pulled it out and it was fine. But I think in the moment I was like, oh my god, I shouldn't do this. No, it's fine. And then but that's like that's the natural competitiveness that just comes out when you're doing a sport, right?
Definitely, yeah. And you're bringing up like what you announce and so not only are they taking weather into consideration, but for someone like Alexei or Abdul, they have to also consider if they're going for a world record, if they're defending a world or national record, and who's going to be gunning for that next record.
Yeah.
And then if they want to try and
or if they want a safe announcement to get a gold medal.
Yes. Yep.
And you know, like maybe their other competitor over announces and.
Yeah. There's a huge mental game that if you really get into this sport can really take a lot of mental gymnastics to figure out. Okay, as we can see, the dive eye is moving a little bit. We're getting a little bit of waves here on the boat, so it's causing a little bit of motion on the dive eye.
I think even the dive line will be moving, and it's surprisingly noticeable. You can hear your own lanyard dragging, and then when it stops dragging or it speeds up with the waves, and it can be somewhat disorienting.
It can, yeah. That's very true. And I know, when I was doing training here, we had a few really, really difficult days, sort of like today, where the rope was moving around a lot, and it was crooked and off to the side. And I mean, it's just something that you, again, kind of have to get used to, and the eventuality that might happen.
Yeah. You made it down
Very
really
nice.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a really nice free fall.
It does look like there's some either current or just waves that might have been a pull out of the line.
I think that was a pull outside of the candy canes, but we'll see what the judges say. But the dive itself, looks really good.
Yeah.
Technique looks nice. Small kicks.
He was doing a little bit of a spin around the rope, but since dive eyes come out, it's actually surprising to see how common, even on world record dives, that the divers spin and spiral. And I think it's better to be relaxed. And if you're a little bit crooked or your lanyard's dragging, it's better to let it go and just pull you around than to fight it, basically.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, I'm very much the kind of diver that likes to just completely relax.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I have no idea what I look like doing free fall because no one's following down to my depth to do free fall. Let's see, getting close.
He's in the last 10 meters, right? Yeah.
Should be in the last few meters. Yep, there we go.
Just make sure he breathes, nice and good.
Yep, nice and high up on the line.
See, nose slip's coming off from the back. He's gonna give the sign.
Okay.
I think that was within 15. That was probably like 13 seconds. I think.
Yeah, that's very close. Yeah. So a diver has 15 seconds to complete their surface protocol before they then have another 30 seconds for the judges to.
Yeah, the judges can wait. I think even more, but it's minimum 30 seconds usually, just to triple check everything. And
right.
Obviously, there's 2 judges in the water, so they can discuss amongst each other if they saw anything. Which, when that happens to you and you see them whispering into each other's ears, it's very stressful. You're like, oh my god, what did I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he got a red card.
Okay, so he got a red card, I think, for the pull at the bottom.
Yeah. It was either the pull or the surface protocol took a little bit too long.
That could be too as well, yeah. And when we look at the official results at the end of the day, you'll be able to see they give details of what the actual blackout, or what the red card was for.
You can make it super
Although you need to kind of know what you're talking about and looking at, because it's all written in code.
It's all written in judge code, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, so our 3 first national record attempts were all red cards, unfortunately.
Yeah. To be fair though, not like a national record in a World Championships on the first dive of the competition in not the best conditions.
Yeah.
Is not like you can say what you can, and you can talk about it, but it's not the most relaxing environment.
Definitely not.
And a national, like we were saying, becoming #1 in your country in something is a very serious achievement.
Yeah.
And that adds an element of stress. The waves add an element of stress. The name of the competition being a World Championships adds an element of stress. So
yeah.
It is what it is, but I'm sure all these divers, there were 2 blackouts, but they seem healthy, and hopefully they'll be cleared to compete again. And
yeah, exactly. Okay. Next up is Huang Hua Yang of Taiwan. Yang, I actually was able to have lunch with a lot of the Taiwanese team the other night, dinner, and we were all sitting around talking, and I forget how it came up, but we started talking about bugs, like insects.
Insects, okay.
Yeah, and Yang is an entomologist.
Okay.
This competitor is the last. After that, competition is stopped.
Okay.
Because of the weather.
Okay, fantastic. So we were just informed that Yang is going to be the last diver of today. We are going to shut it down because of the weather. We do have a weather makeup day scheduled for the end of the competition. And so I believe what's going to happen now is we're going to continue with the schedule of, I believe, free immersion.
When I was in the World Championships in Nice 2 years ago, I think the women's free immersion day was stopped halfway through. Might have been no fins, but then yeah, the rest of the comp continued as it is on paper.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure if they allowed the entire day to be restarted, or if they just started from the last athlete.
From the last athlete.
But yeah, there's obviously, like we said, you can't plan everything, and there's a limit to what's safe, and I think they're seeing now that it's negatively affecting the performances.
Yeah.
If it was, I would like to see this guy as well not have to do the dive, considering that they made the call.
That's fair.
You need a fair cutoff, and it is the decision, but
that's fair.
Obviously, safety is the priority, I think, and
definitely. And to be fair, I don't actually think this is the max the wind is supposed to get today.
No, it's picking up.
It's going to pick up even more, and so I think the organizers are making the right call in canceling it now.
Yeah, like there's probably they probably have discussed amongst themselves a safe limit in terms of wind speed and gust speed.
Yeah.
And they see it's getting there, so it's probably okay. We'll cut it half an hour early.
Yeah.
Just in case it picks up sooner than it's forecasted and everything. But
yeah.
Just sitting up here, I can feel it's gotten quite a bit. Like the base wind speed has picked up a lot.
Yes, even in the last 10-15 minutes, it has picked up quite a bit. We've got this one more dive, and then you can watch AIDA Freediving on their Instagram account to get any updates on when this will pick up. It won't be for the rest of the day today. It'll probably be at the end of the 8-day competition that we have. So we do have one day scheduled for
I think it's scheduled for the 30th, right?
I believe so, yes. Yeah. I believe it's the 30th.
The thing is, though, to be honest, when I'm watching these dives, I don't see any under the ground current. It's just like underwater current.
Yeah.
But obviously, like anyone who has done freediving knows that the most important part of the dive is actually the relaxing and the breathing before you start and after you start. So it's mostly the surface that I think is the problem right now.
Yes, that's fair. I mean, and if a diver isn't relaxed on the surface, is worried about surface conditions,
it's going through your mind the whole dive. And
yeah.
Anything going through your mind the whole dive is consuming oxygen.
Yep.
Creating tension.
Yes.
It's going to make neutralizing harder, finning harder, relaxing harder. So obviously, I do think it's the right call. But this dive's looking actually really, really good and relaxed so far.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, yeah, we've touched down at the bottom. Got a tag.
No pull off the ball, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
And now we just need to see. There might be a tiny current. His feet are drifting off the line a bit, but it doesn't look very strong. He looks relaxed as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's been. Let's see. I think he's been diving since for maybe the last 10 years. And I know when we were talking, he had a lot of. We talked a lot about mental resiliency. Hey.
You see, man? What a fun day.
Yeah. Oh man. No, I mean Yang is looking really good here. Still doing his thing. Safety diver there with him. Meeting down at 40, which is a little earlier than what they said they were going to be doing. But I think that's probably for a safety.
Yeah, I think if you're at any bit concerned and you're still doing the dive anyway, I think the safety team should, they have the scooter so they can pick up the slack and go meet a little bit deeper just in case there's a problem. But
definitely.
Again, I think we're seeing some lactic acid, but he doesn't look stressed, his finning's looking good, so as long as, I think again, if he breathes nicely at the surface,
yeah.
Hopefully the waves don't interrupt that too much. You can just hold the rope comfortably.
Right.
Like there you let the buoyancy come up, so I don't see any stress or anxiety.
He's up really nice and high on the line,
yeah,
so no risk of waves coming and blasting over his face. Looks nice and fresh.
That was actually a really nice dive to watch.
Yeah.
That's something that when I'm working as a coach, one of the things that I like to look for is this, coming up with a smile on your face.
Exactly.
Letting the last 10 meters of buoyancy pull you up, not panicking, just getting your white card.
There we go, and the white card.
Clapping for yourself, that's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, really nice dive from Yang. And what a nice way to finish off the dives for today. Yeah, really beautiful dive. We have one more official top. Done up. Okay. Okay, great. So we're hearing that we have one more diver, Andrei Zhdanov of Russia. Apparently he to jump in the water and do this dive now.
53.
To be again, as a competitor, I can understand that. Like in your mind, you've been planning this dive maybe for months, and like you know your schedule, you know your like you've pre-planned your rest days, you've pre-planned everything potentially.
Yeah.
So if you're confident that you've got this dive in you, and that you know, like what we're seeing here is that there isn't current under the water.
Right.
I'm sure the safeties are telling the athletes this, that okay, like there's bad conditions on the surface, but underneath is safe. And then if he really doesn't want to like postpone, you know, he just wants to do it, then he's. This is actually Jordan Alvarez from Cuba.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so maybe Andre, who is it? Andre maybe decided to postpone, but Jordan didn't want to and said, I feel ready for today. I don't want to wait. And I always say this, the number one person who's in charge of your safety is yourself. And hopefully he's making the right call, and if he feels safe and if he feels confident, then obviously the judges and the organizers are allowing him to make that decision. Which at a certain point you need to take responsibility, but again, like I said, the number one person in charge should be the athlete.
Absolutely.
They should be responsible, and they should know themselves. So hopefully he's really confident for this.
Right. And that's what I was saying earlier too, about knowing when to do an early turn, rather than trying to force it, or just trying to push through. There's a mental maturity that comes with knowing when to turn, when to rather just say, this is the day. I've given it my best. Today's just not my day. And again, that's what keeps divers safe and keeps them diving.
Yeah, I think there's always a battle between your intuition and your ego. And like I think every diver knows intuitively what is safe for them to do, if they should turn, if they shouldn't turn, etc., etc. And then every athlete has an ego, and you have this battle. You're like, but I paid for the comp, I gotta do it. So you have to, as best, like I think the ego is important. Actually, it's what motivates you to train, and it's what motivates you to skip a party and focus on your diet. And you need that ego, but you also need to know when to listen to the intuition that says, can I do this dive in these conditions? Should I just turn, or can I ride my ear that one extra meter? And usually I think deep down inside you'll know, and you just have to know how to listen to it, right?
Right, absolutely. Whew. Okay. So it looks like it is going to be Jordan Alvarez of Cuba, attempting a national record. He trains in Luxembourg, and initially started doing freediving with spearfishing, but he spent a lot of time in the water, in the ocean. So we'll be, if I recall, ooh, no, I won't. I won't make a recollection that I cannot officially.
Recollections are dangerous. Just sometimes, sometimes you end up saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't want to do that. Cool. So far, we can see all the dives that have happened today. Again, we've got Alexei's world record at 115. Really fresh dive. Abdel again 111. Yeah, a lot of really amazing dives today.
Yeah, and you can also see, I don't remember the first half of the start, or the first third, but you can also see the red and yellows are getting more frequent actually, which is again indicative of a serious change in conditions,
Yes. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is the beginning.
Yeah, so there's only two out of like 10.
Yeah.
Red, and it got a bit more common towards the end.
Right. Ooh-wee, this wind. So we have about a minute left until Jordan is going to begin the final dive.
Did they bump him up early, or is he still starting at his original?
He's still starting
top?
on his official top. So
Okay.
Andre was going to go, but I think he ended up not. So that's why we had a bit of a longer pause between dives.
I was also just gonna say, like, when they made a little shift in the schedule or the start list, it's good to give the athlete their. Oh, I think Andre's as well are gonna dive now.
Oh.
Sorry, I think we're both getting confused here. We got told one start, and now it looks like both athletes are on the start line, so maybe there's going to be two, and they both opted in to go anyway.
Let's see. This looks like Andre.
Yeah, this is Andre.
Yeah.
But again, you can see that he's like chosen not to have a flotation device or to breathe with a snorkel, and he's I wouldn't say he's working very hard, but he's putting in an effort to keep his head up and to breathe, you know, and it's unfortunately not the best way to start, but he looks like he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I think based on how low he was sitting in the water, we're going to see a bit of an earlier free fall than most people. I think he had a bit more weight on.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, weighting is always is again another one of the variables that we sort of have to consider as freedivers.
Yeah.
And especially in competition, trying to figure out if you want to have a bit earlier of a free fall.
Yeah, see, he's starting at around 30. He's barely kicking now.
Yeah. And so obviously the more weight you bring down, the harder you have to work on the way back up.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting actually, like I started freediving like almost 8 years ago, and there's been a noticeable change recently. Like the people, I think, let's say 5, 6, 7 years ago, most athletes were free falling between 25 and 30.
Wow.
Even for really deep dives.
Wow, that's really early
and it's very recent where you start seeing, like, it's more common where athletes are kicking to 50, 60 meters.
Yeah.
And realizing that, okay, maybe the relaxation on the way down is a bit more difficult, but the overall dive is very easy. It's easy to come up and a bit more enjoyable.
Yes, yeah.
But here we're seeing more of like let's say an old school dive with weighting and free falling around 30.
Sure. Okay, we've got the tag. Not touching the line. And on our way back up, moving to a streamline position.
Still, he's got really like with bifins having this small amplitude, kind of fast kick, just kind of cruising through the water, letting the fins do the work. He's actually not working so hard, so it seems to be the right weighting choice for him as well. So
yeah,
he looks quite comfortable with that weight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and again, as I've said numerous times, we've got a little okay.
Camera.
Fantastic. Every diver is different. Everyone has their own things that they like to do or that they struggle with, and so what works for one person will not work for another.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just everyone has their own little strategy, and that's not a word we use very often in freediving, strategy, but depending on where you take, how you equalize, which technique you're using, what if you have more like of an endurance body or an anaerobic body, you can make all these little adjustments with your weights, with your fin stiffness, and then try to find the most effective way to dive for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. We
gotta take the nose clip off first.
Nose clip. Now we've got the okay. That was within the 15 seconds, so it should be okay.
So again, for anyone that doesn't know, you have when you surface, you need to take off your facial equipment, give an okay sign with your fingers, and then say I'm okay. in the order of facial equipment, sign, and then I'm okay.
Right.
Although you can make a mistake as long as you catch yourself and start the order properly.
Right. And I'm hearing some cheering,
So
so
it looks clean so far.
yeah,
There
and
we
we've
go.
got a white card.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah, really nice dive, considering all of the crazy surface conditions. And
Yeah. And if I don't know if the viewers were able to hear with the wind on camera, but we could hear the judge saying, or sorry, not the judge, his coach was telling him, no slip, to
Yes.
remind him like, okay, you've made a mistake, but if you get your nose slip off and then do the surface protocol from the start,
Yep.
you'll be fine. And he clearly did it within the allocated time. So
yeah, absolutely.
it's also a good job on him, but really good job on his coach to stay calm, but also firm to tell him what to do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think that is going to be it for today.
Yeah, the wind's going crazy now.
The wind is windy, as one says. We're hearing things knocking around, so I think we're going to cut it for the day. Be sure you're following AIDA Freediving on Instagram. You're on the AIDA website to look for all the updates, all of the final dive results. And we'll see you tomorrow for women's free immersion.
Is it free immersion or no fins tomorrow, actually?
Let me check my notes.
I think we need to double check, yeah.
We will double check. I have all of my papers in front of me, but I don't want to let any of them go.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to pollute the ocean.
I'll hold these ones if you want.
Thank you. Let's take a final look here. Okay, tomorrow is free immersion. So we're doing women's free immersion tomorrow, and then men's free immersion the day after that. So thank you for joining us. Sorry to cut it a little bit short, but we'll see you tomorrow. And thank you, Nathan, for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it, and it was nice. It's the first time I've gotten to sit in front of the dive-by camera and to like see the divers as they're doing it live, you know?
Yeah, it's a really cool experience.
Yeah,
huh?
it's been fun.
Yeah,
Thank you
awesome.
for having me as well.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Cool, we'll see you guys tomorrow.